Good morning, everyone.
Getting this queued up. Here we go. Oh my goodness gracious. I didn't plan to go tonight because we're going to do OJ tomorrow. And that's always a fun time, a long night. We have like a whole chapter to cover by summarizing what we already did and finishing the rest. But holy crapazoid. Some of you guys have been asking me, are you going to do Diddy? And I was like, no, it's not really my thing. And then I really watched it, and I got a copy of the civil lawsuit that started it all from Cassie Ventura against Diddy, the one that settled in a single day and resulted in the infamous video that started to take him down. And I also got a copy of the federal indictment, and woohoo, we go down the rabbit hole. They had me at 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Of course we were going to do this. This is going to be the start. Pete wants to say hi. Step up, Pete. Crime Conure is on the case. Okay, that's cheesy. So come here. I'm here. I'm right here. Yes. So P-Diddy, he's not just a rapper. He's a mogul. He owns an alcohol company. He owns a record label, Bad Boy Records. He owns like 5 or 6 different other things, like fashion labels. He's a mogul, right? He's unrivaled in money in the entertainment industry and like the music and record industry. He is a rapper, but yeah, he has a lot of huge labels. He dated J-Lo, remember, like 10 years ago, right before she blew up. He dated J-Lo. You guys might remember him from that. I would say it's like on the level of Jay-Z, like royalty, right? PD just started the countdown again. Naughty boy. Get off. Okay, sorry. So he's like royalty, and he throws white parties every year on Labor Day that are infamous, and getting invited is big. And everybody knows that his parties are big orgies. I'm just going to say it. Okay, I don't think they're going to say it quietly. And nothing necessarily illegal about that. I mean, I suppose you could be, funding swinger, thingies, and hiring people to entertain and buying thousands of bottles of baby oil and hosting these elaborate things. Sorry, Pete. Sorry. I'm just like gesturing with him. He's like, chill out. I guess you could do all that in a way that's legal, but apparently, according to the complaint, I'm going to show it to you guys. Apparently, according to the complaint, it has been racketeering, RICO charge, right? And they did not charge conspiracy, but RICO, my understanding, not attorney, my understanding is that you have to still prove the same elements of conspiracy. There's a few other things. Yes, gathering voices to be more specific. 1,000 bottles of baby oil were seized from his Miami residence and Beverly Hills residence in combination. I guess he had tons of linens, baby oil, towels, all the normal orgy accoutrements, if you will, and IV fluids. Okay, this guy had schedulers. He had people to schedule the IV fluid sessions, and he would like round people through to recover, because the parties would last days, and there would be all these illicit substances, if you get my drift. And that's not necessarily illegal either, technically. Probably statutes have been, have gone. But P. Diddy is going away for a long time, says Gather. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to stop talking and introing all this and telling you what a big deal this is, because especially, okay, quick couple more facts that you should know. He offered, first, he was going to turn himself in. He went to New York. There's a video of him going the day before he was arrested. And instead, they arrested him right before his arraignment to turn himself in. So that was definitely a show move, right? Or they really thought he was going to flee. Doubt it. If they had evidence of that, they would have put it up. So I think it was just a hardball, move. And this is what I hate. I hate it when law enforcement does that. I just do. I'm sorry. Like, the reality is bad enough. Why pull tricks to make it flashier, right? Welcome, Stardust. Happy you're here. Okay. I'm just going to leave it right here on 1,000 bottles of baby oil, right? I'm never going to look at baby oil the same. I mean, today yeah. Okay. So he was over the top. So now we're dealing with racketeering and trafficking, federal charges. And they could have brought it anywhere because it's federal, but they brought it in the 9th District of New York. This is the same district that, whoa, Petey Poo. Thanks, Pete. Same district that prosecuted, what's that guy? R. Kelly, who went away for 30 years. They chose to charge him on conspiracy. I saw an interview with the prosecutor on that, and she said, well, we could have gone either way. We could have gone with the same charges that Diddy is facing now, and they're just as serious, and you have to prove the same elements. Super interesting, that. So I guess it's just a choice about how the prosecutor wants to proceed. So he goes up for a bail hearing, right? He offers to put up $50 million in bail, and they say, no, you're a risk to the public. You're a danger. Whoa. So he's being held in New York jail in the 9th District, right? They don't mess around. They have a lot of experience prosecuting. They don't prosecute unless they have a mountain of evidence, or they think that they can push you into thinking they do, right? But in a high-profile case like this, I think they've been probably collecting it for quite some time. So the key for him was that he was videoing what was happening. So it's like, I'm going to make an obscure reference, but I'll think of it. It's a book. I'm going to put that aside until I think of the name. But basically, like a classic, like hooking ring, basically, or like a classic madam. He was taking videos of the people who were doing like what some people might be considering depraved things, and then he was using that to blackmail them. So he could get anything he wanted. He would bribe and blackmail, and people took his authority really seriously. So he could manage to do this for a long time. Okay, so the most fun part, and then I will be quiet, is I gotta admit, the guy has a cool factor. He has a presumption of innocence, but he's accused of doing horrible things according to this indictment. But he had a good name for him. He called him Freak Offs. I'm kind of jealous. I should have thought of that name a long time ago for my parties. I mean, Freak Off. Come on. It just sounds cool. But I guess horrible things happened at these events. Horrible things. So the video that broke it all open was the one which is hotel surveillance. These freak offs were held often at hotels. LA, New York, Miami. He'd pay all these people to stock up the rooms with all this stuff, right? So his girlfriend at the time, Cassie Ventura, they got into a fight. He wasn't having it. He gave her a black eye, and she decided to leave. I think he actually closed fist, right? Contacted. So the video starts when she's walking down the hall and hitting the elevator button. I'm going to warn you all, I'm probably going to lose half the room. Those of you who are sensitive to violence, this is an adult themed session only. This could be triggering. It's only 20 seconds. but look away if you cannot handle it. This is very extreme. I got this footage difficultly. It was very difficult. Let's put it that way. I was able to kind of screen capture and move, and I had to flip it in a mirror to be able to even download it and make it smaller. Okay, so what you're about to see is from CNN. CNN got it, and they only put out a little piece of it until the other day. Now the whole thing is out, but it was hard to download. I'm going to show it to you. Okay, so let's open with a bang. Let's show you what we're talking about. Racketeering, conspiracy, trafficking. What does all this mean, right? Well, we're going to show you what all this means. I apologize. It'll be over soon. For those of you who can't look away from a car accident or a train wreck like me. Shit, man. Here we go. I'm sorry. It's fucking awful. It's very violent. Okay, this is Cassie Ventura. It's hard to watch. He remembers to stop and wrap up his towel and calmly gathers her things. And then at this point, he just stops dragging her. He's like, okay, I've done my job. And she gets up and goes to the phone. He keeps walking. I mean, that's what I seem to understand from the surveillance. And then he realizes she goes to the phone. And then this, I think, is flipped. I actually think this is the incident right here. Sitting here, I don't know. I somehow lost the last piece, but he was throwing glass from on that table across. So Cassie Ventura, she is the woman seen in that video. She tried to leave. He wasn't having it. You don't leave a freak up, apparently. You don't leave. So she was the girlfriend, and he was hiring male workers and bringing them across state lines, transporting them. And they were having parties, if you know what I mean. And he was supplying chemicals, if you know what I mean, to keep it going days and days and days. And so you don't leave, right? And it was primarily males that he was hiring. Go figure. Go figure. This is his style. This is his preference. And then he would have a bunch of baby oil and linen and towels, and people could do their things and other people would watch. And a lot of the event was watching. This is no different than a club. It's like being a sex club. Everybody knows this shit happens in Hollywood and in elite club, and this is partying, right? Not surprised by this. Not surprised by this. Shocked and surprised by that video, though, right? Shocked and surprised by that video. It's shockingly violent. And at first I thought she was knocked out, but then I realized she just was like, no, I'm not fighting this, right? You see her just go limp. Okay, so I'm sure he was hopped up on all kinds of stuff and out of his mind, but he did this on purpose, pervasively for like 20 years, man. 20 years. And when it came crashing down, all it came crashing down. Like many federal cases, it starts civilly. Where do you ever stop and think where the feds decide to pick their cases from? How do they know when somebody ripped someone else off? It's not like, I mean, it's not like they have a bell every time it happens, you know, an angel gets their wings and runs on. When somebody steals and commits racketeering or conspiracy or wire fraud, you know, they get a message or, you know, a little buzzer goes off. It doesn't work that way. No, they often get contacted by the victims of the, you know, the loss or whatever the federal crime is. And a federal agent has to take interest in the case and think this is something I can prosecute. And then usually they'll talk to a lot of people and build it over a long time. And the goal typically is to plead it, so you don't have to put in a ton of resources. But this guy, he's been doing this for so long. And it's like, of course, who he is and who he's built, this brand, he's like this persona. The only reaction he's going to be having is, how do I get out of this? But I don't think he's going to get out of this. right? But let's see how he tried when that video first came out. He released an apology. Why? Because the case settled in one day, but it wasn't fast enough. People got their hold on it, and the video came out. But this event I just showed you from 2016. He's got a lot of those, right? We just saw with our own eyes. I don't know what he's guilty of or not, other than what I just saw. Here's the thing. They couldn't prosecute him for this once it got released. It's past the statute of limitations for assault in California, where this happened in LA. So guilty or not, he only had reputation control to do after this. So here he went on Instagram, Diddy himself, and he talked to us about, how terribly sad he is.
Behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full.
This one is not mixed right. I'm gonna have to go for the other one. These things are hard to download actually because there's like aspect ratio stuff every time you change it. Anyway, let's see if I get the right version.
Behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now. I mean, I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable.
What do y'all think of that? Is he disgusted with himself? Does he show disgust? Do you see disgust? A little. I think it's disgust that he's distaste for what he's having to do, talk about this. I certainly don't see any taking of responsibility. He's descriptive. He says, I make no excuses. And then he immediately makes an excuse preceding that and says, I hit rock bottom. He probably talked to somebody about what he was supposed to say. I don't know. He's a mogul. I'm sure he could have just, looks like he might have just turned it on and started recording himself. Who knows? But it didn't work. People were like, oh my gosh, this is the worst apology video ever. And before the video was released, he put out a statement, I think it was on Twitter, maybe Instagram, saying, people are just trying to ruin me, ruin my brand. They're coming after me. It's all lies. I never did any of this. Then the video comes out, then it's like, oh, yeah, I did that. So it's a kind of classic slippery step, Okay, so let's go from that and let's look at the federal prosecutor, it's the city attorney. I think he's going to introduce himself. He's reading, sort of summarizing the indictment and giving a press conference explaining to us what is going on. So it's a couple more clips I want to share with you to give you an idea of what is going on and like the scope of what we're seeing on a legal level here. Okay, so let's see. I want to make sure I'm not missing comments. Great. Yeah. Okay. So there were two separate raids, to be clear, in Miami and in Beverly Hills, where he had huge mansions. And I have a lot of photos for you guys. So here we go with the press conference.
Justice to everyone who's been victimized by the defendant. I can't tell you why it took so long.
Okay.
New York. Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
By the way, they unsealed the grand jury indictment. I have it. I'm going to show it to you right after this, okay?
The indictment alleges that between at least 2008 and the present, Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. As alleged in the indictment, to carry out this conduct, Sean Combs led and participated in a racketeering conspiracy.
P-Diddy, aka Puff Daddy, aka real name Sean Combs. Okay. You can hear all these pseudonyms.
That used the business empire he controlled to
Welcome,
carry
guys.
out criminal
Oh,
activity.
hey, please don't forget, hit the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed and you're new, welcome, subscribe. I'll keep bringing out this fun content to you and these updates. Not that this is fun for anyone. I'm sorry, not fun, but it is fun for me to make content for you, even about these things. So I hope you know what I mean. Like, right. Peace. Here we go.
Including trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice.
Arson. I want to know
Let
what
me
that's
say a little bit more about the charges. The indictment alleges that Combs abused and exploited women and other people for years, and in a variety of ways. As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual performances with male commercial workers, some of whom he transported or caused to be transported over state lines. Combs alleged
little bit of a kink I'm picking up on there. To each your own, until it's all fun and games, until you're trafficking, and then not so much, right? I'm making some jokes about the ridiculousness of this case and the 1,000 bottles of baby oil, but there are real victims in this case that were obviously hurt, and I'm making light after that that horrid video that we just saw. You can go back and rewind if you want to see it. I'm not going to play it again. I have to do that. I have to make some jokes to survive the stress of these horrible things. But we're going to keep going here.
allegedly planned and controlled the performances, which he called freak-offs.
Freak-offs.
And he often electronically recorded
freak?
them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial sex workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics, such as ketamine, ecstasy, and GHB, which Combs distributed to the victims to keep them obedient and compliant.
This is
As
true.
alleged, when Combs didn't get his way, he was violent, and he subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse so that they would participate in the freak-offs, and that Combs hit, kicked, threw objects at, and dragged victims, at times by their hair.
We just saw that is directly out of the complaint that Cassie Ventura filed, that civil lawsuit that started all of it, that got the feds looking and saying, we can do something with this, right? And it's straight out of the indictment. The language copies itself, right? Mirrors.
On one occasion in March of 2016, that conduct was captured on video and later reported in the media. Specifically, Combs kicked, dragged, and threw a vase at a victim in a Los Angeles hotel when the victim was attempting to flee. As alleged, these assaults often resulted in injuries to the victims, which took days or weeks to heal. In addition to the violence, the indictment.
A contusion can take weeks to heal. I think that's usually probably what they're talking about in these cases. Gave her a black eye, right? They have direct evidence of that. So I think that's what they're referencing. And with the days, I think they're talking about the IV fluids after collapse, right?
The indictment alleges that Combs threatened and coerced victims to get them to participate in the freak-offs. He used the embarrassing and sensitive recordings he made of the freak-offs as collateral against the victims. And the indictment alleges that he maintained control over the victims in several ways, including by giving them drugs, by giving and threatening to take away financial support or housing, by promising them career opportunities, by monitoring their whereabouts, and even by dictating their physical appearance. Because of all of this, the indictment alleges that the victims did not believe they could refuse Combs without risking their security or facing more abuse. The indictment also alleges.
I always wonder how they prove that type of coercion, right? That's a bold statement, and it has to kind of get in somebody else's head a little bit. And their sphere of awareness and what they believed they could or could not do compared to what a reasonable person would believe they could or could not do in those circumstances, right? I mean, just because I, as an individual, feel like, oh, I can't handle that situation, doesn't mean an average person in that situation couldn't. So the legal standard, typically, as a non-lawyer scholar, right, as a legal scholar who is a non-lawyer, there's a distinction there. Okay, let's keep going.
Other acts of violence undertaken by Combs and others, including violence against witnesses to his abuse, kidnapping, and arson. The indictment alleges that on more than one occasion, Combs carried or brandished arms to intimidate and threaten victims and witnesses.
He was talking about bang bangs. And we're going to see some pictures of that if I can be competent enough to show them to you. So he had a bunch of those, and he would carry. What's up with, popular gangsters carrying these things? Like, they can get away with just shooting people. Like, do they get away with that? Like, I doubt he had been walking around shooting people. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, my mind's kind of blown how he can get away with this persona. But a lot of this famous kind of gangster guys do. It's so lagged. I apologize. This video is lagging. It's not much I can do about it. It's like, come on, play. I think it's my internet.
Now, Combs did not do this all on his own. As I mentioned, Combs has been charged with RICO conspiracy. He used his business and employees of that business and other close associates to get his way. Those individuals allegedly included high-ranking supervisors in the business, personal assistants, security staff, and household staff.
So they're all in on it.
The indictment.
But no one else is yet being charged. He's going to talk about this. They ask him. He says, I'm not taking anything off the table. Now, does more than one person need to be charged for conspiracy to make a conspiracy charge? No, it's my understanding that they don't. Again, I'm not a lawyer, but my background is in criminology. I do work in civil law, but as a overeducated non-attorney, right? You can charge just one person with conspiracy with someone else who is not charged for the situation. Nothing says you have to bring charges. If it's a discretionary thing, if they don't think they can either make the charges stick, or B, if they want to offer some kind of immunity in exchange for testimony. And they're going to be tromping person after person, witness after witness in here. He's going to have a trial, you guys. It's going to be, a show. But this is a district that doesn't allow cameras. So we have like sketches. Same district as Trump, I think, was in. It's like, but we're still going to follow it. Okay. And there's no date set. This is just starting, and he is remanded to custody. Okay. With oodles and oodles of money, and he's given his passport up. It's just like, wow.
And alleges that those individuals facilitated the freak-offs. They booked the hotel rooms and stocked them with the supplies, including drugs, baby oil, personal lubricant, extra linens, and lighting.
Extra linens
hotel rooms
and lighting.
Damaged, they helped clean it up.
Ambiance
they
is
arranged
very
for victims and
freak-offs.
commercial sex workers to travel for the freak-offs, and they delivered large quantities of cash to Combs to pay for the commercial sex workers.
Okay, this is just a me thing, probably. I've felt this way since I sat in like CJ class, like criminology classes, and criminal justice classes when I was just a wee youngin'. We won't say how long ago. These professors, or these very adult, men in suits, would say these super casual, substance, illicit things related words, and I would just like find it hard to stay serious, like to see them using these very casual terms, like very formally. The freak offs were. How do you say these things very formally? But they do, and we all find a way to do it with some sobriety in a court environment, in a legal environment. But this is Salty After Dark, where I get to take my hat off. So I find this a little bit, there's an absurdity, in my personal opinion. There's an absurdity to these professionals chasing around this very fluid criminal activity and trying to sort of like talk like they understand what they're talking about. I appreciate it, but there's an absurdity. Okay. Am I wrong? Is that true? Tell me. There's
The
a
indictment also
whole
alleges
room,
that they
but
helped
you guys are
Combs
really
cover
quiet.
up his crimes.
This must be interesting.
During the March 2016 incident at the LA hotel that I mentioned earlier,
a lot of people in
a
here.
member of the hotel security staff intervened, and Combs attempted to bribe the staff member with a stack of cash to make sure that what happened was kept quiet.
Like, don't worry, just grab
And as the
10,000.
indictment alleges, in late 2023, after public allegations were made about Combs's crimes, he and others pressured witnesses and victims to stay silent, including by making phone calls to witnesses and victims and giving them a false narrative of what they had experienced. And as alleged, Combs used others to help conceal his abuse by monitoring and preventing victims from leaving a location in order to hide their injuries, or by locating and contacting a victim who had attempted to flee. As part of this investigation,
Hi, Valiant Thor says, and I have to confess, I don't really understand what this means. Why do you have to be a, quote, power bottom to be successful in the entertainment industry? I feel really silly, but I don't know what a power bottom is. What does that mean? What's a power bottom? I wrote, Valiant Thor, educate me, please. You just used one of those buzzwords that people like me don't know how to use. I don't know what to do. Guys, thumbs up and subscribe. We are talking about P-Diddy and his recent federal indictment in the 9th District of New York, and the raid on his mansions in Beverly Hills, Los Angeles, and Miami, Florida. Here we go. Press conference continuing right now.
in March of this year, special agents from HSI executed search warrants at Combs.
I guess that, but what is it? I get, yeah, it's derogatory, but what does it mean? Can you be more specific without getting us banned? Be creative, like we're playing Taboo. That's how we have to, I love that game Taboo. It used to be many moons ago. I was a sign language interpreter, and, I would have to not translate, but interpret, really, like with a kind of a lag, like think, what does that actually mean? And change it into a different syntax. And so always it's kind of like happening in my head. What does that really mean? And then do I understand it well enough to repeat it in a different way? And so this is a wonderful way to do that. It feels like Taboo. I used to not care, but then I would get like shadow banned, like nobody would come in because I was saying all the words that you don't say. Because I flouted YouTube. Don't care about you. Whatever. I do what I want. And that didn't work out so well for me. So I'm so happy you guys are here. This is really fun. If you're here, new, subscribe, like. I'm going again tomorrow. We're doing the book, If I Did It, by OJ. We're doing the chapter that night, diving into that. So I'm never afraid to get salty here. Never afraid to dive into the dump and say what's happening, what's going on. What do we think of this situation? Like, what do we really think is happening? Let's break it down. Okay, Valiant Thor is going to tell me what power bottom means. Don't get me banned. Okay, too many actors and rappers forcefully getting their wigs split and cheeks busted. Everyone's cheeks looking like the Grand Canyon. It's getting out of control. I'm still really lost. I'm so freaking lost. But it's a fun game. What? So then Valiant Thor says, astonishing how our words are more patrolled than the southern border. Yes. I mean, like, it's funny because it's allowed, right? It's not government control. It's not government that's doing it. It's private companies that say, well, if you want to be on our platform, right? Because they have liability on the other side. So I get it. And I've thought a lot. I've made a Patreon. I I haven't really gone forward with having two versions of things, one where I bleep and one where I, okay. So anyways, we'll see how this goes in the video if I don't get in trouble for playing the clips, but we're having a great time tonight. So let's keep going.
Residences in Miami.
And by the way, I live in San Diego, Thor. I don't know about you, but I can't drive anywhere ever without passing a one of those green and white immigration buses just sitting there, just being like, nah, white girl, no, not her, not her. I mean, it's like an ordinary thing. It's everywhere, every day. It is heavily patrolled, trust me, at least right here. I don't know. Maybe all those guys sitting in those trucks need to be somewhere else. I don't know. I'm just saying. They're always just kind of sitting there looking. What are they looking for? License plate scanning? Like, I don't understand what they're looking for. Like, okay. I would love for somebody to tell me what they're profiling, because Border Patrol is allowed to profile. They are allowed to use profiling, right? I would find it very interesting. I know what it used to be like 10 years ago, man. They could look at, skin color and everything, all the things that we say don't do that. They are allowed to do. Okay. Were anyway. So I think it's the same way now with DHS. Anything that's like Border Patrol, Secure Homeland Security, you can look at that person and be like, oh, I don't know, wearing a turban and a a beard. I don't know about that. Yet, if you're a private company and you're hiring, right, you can't and should not consider that. You're not allowed to discriminate. If you're renting a place, you're not allowed to discriminate. So it's really like an interesting line between, again, non-attorney, interesting line there with, our freedom of speech, and what does that really mean in our daily lives in a place where the powers that be in our world are not really the government entities. It's often private companies like Facebook and YouTube and IG and everybody trying to figure out what their rules are and conform to it. Sorry. Hi, YouTube. Thanks for promoting me. Love you.
And Los Angeles. They also executed
Thank you,
the warrant
Valiant
for
Thor.
Combs' electronic devices. During those searches, agents seized evidence of the crimes charged in this indictment. They seized firearms and ammunition, including 3.
Okay, thank you for being explicit. I guess I'm super thick and needed it spelled out. I thought it was going to be more esoteric than that. Why the power though? Like, how do you get you get the power from being the receiver? Like, I don't. What's a social concept, psychological concept there? Valiant Thor says, watching from Los Alamos National Laboratory Isotope Production Facility. That is so flipping cool. I cannot even tell you. That is so cool. Isotope Production Facility. Tell me more. Talking my language. Let's get nerdy. Liked and subscribed. Okay. The term was made up by TJ Jakes. Okay. Learn something new every day. Thank you for educating. Very fun. Okay. Thank you guys for joining. Really fun. So happy you're here, Thor. Thanks for liking and subscribing. Tipped Mama says not Valiant of you. Did I miss something? What wasn't Valiant? Oh, wait, I did miss. Okay. I don't know. I think maybe I asked him to explain. I'm sorry. Okay.
Defaced AR-15s and a large capacity drum magazine. They also
Defaced,
seized
I'm
evidence
guessing the
of
serial
freak-offs,
numbers.
electronic devices that contain images and videos of the freak-offs with multiple victims.
Freak-off. I can't.
And they seized cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the freak-offs. More than 1,000 bottles altogether.
I just have one comment on that. Just one. If you're going to go to like elaborate lengths for this stuff, why not go with high quality lube? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Okay, I'm just going to shut up. Oh yeah.
Here are some of the items that we
No,
observed during the search.
I didn't take it as intolerant. I feel like totally lost to use the term. I'm going to have to, let's go back. I think that it was a commentary on why do you, okay, it started with this comment right here. I'm going to go ahead and highlight. Why do you have to be a power bottom to be successful in the entertainment industry? So my take on that is like, why is there so much pressure to succumb to these kinds of like, you know, charismatic, high power individuals in order to, you know, be recognized? Okay, and a term I'd never heard before, which I just learned, and I apologize to anyone who found that offensive. I'm like dull tonight. I'm sorry. Okay, so the serial numbers were removed. Yes, when they say defaced, you know what, bang bangs, they're talking about serial numbers are erased, so there's no tracking it. So if somebody does get, you know, offed, no, it comes up stolen or something. It can also be removing bluing and fingerprinting, because a lot of those bang bangs, another word I can't use. Funny thing is, it just creates a new language, you know, and then they're gonna have to ban that anyway. The bang bang. Some of them come with, at least I owned one at one time. I no longer own firearms, but I did at one time, and it had what's called bluing. So when you touched it, the surface absorbed your fingerprints, like specifically. I could see my print visibly on it, and I would have to, like, you know, rub that down every time after use because it had that bluing. So I don't know. I think that I wanted that. I thought it looked pretty, and it was only Target used for me. It was actually, I think, former law enforcement, but yeah, they remove that kind of thing that picks up prints. I don't know about recent ones, like the ones, the one I had was an older 38. I used to do a lot of it, but it's been many years. I don't anymore. Okay, so Valiant Thor says it's a slang term for a man who prefers to be on the receiving end. Okay, so what's happening? That's P-Diddy case. So he was hiring male workers, right? So there's really something going on with that. That was a big thing. He was hiring. I don't really understand that dynamic yet, but that was alleged, that he was hiring and transporting specifically male. So I'm thinking that there was something to that. There's also some kind of allegation of other, I don't know if I can say the word, but other, you know, events that are male on male in this case, and there were allegations. So there's some kind of thing going on with that. Oh, have a good night. Don't feel like you have to leave. I don't think you meant any offense at all. Okay, so yeah, that's what was going on. Maybe, I don't know. I apologize, but I want to move on from that, because I don't know. I didn't take it that way, but I just, you know, I'm super distracted by the absurdity in this case, and the level of it. It's just like, what? And I don't know anything about the person who wrote this, so they might be kind of referencing, I don't know. Let's just, yeah. I feel like we should be welcoming here. Don't leave. Don't feel like you need to leave. I actually repeatedly asked to explain to me what this means. And I'm the cat that got killed with curiosity. Okay, so let's move on from any of that. But guys, stay. Make comments. I love it. Subscribe and like. The more we even disagreeing sometimes, it brings out information and education. And I honestly don't Valiant Thor. Yeah, don't go. I appreciate your additions. I very much appreciate your perspective. You're more than welcome here. Thank you for answering the question I asked.
As you can see here, this is a drum magazine, large capacity, and it contains, I believe, 59 rounds. I mentioned as well, we recovered 3 AR-15s. This is a close-up shot of one.
Whoa,
of
how did I
the
get that
AR-15s,
picture-in-picture thing going
right
on?
here,
How did I do that?
the
What the?
serial number has been
Neat.
thoroughly defaced.
I don't want to do it, but I don't understand.
Another picture of more
Not what I meant to
ammunition and
What?
parts of 2 AR-15s right there. Now, I want to be clear about 2 things. First, this office is determined to investigate and prosecute anyone who engages in sex trafficking.
I don't know what I'm
no matter
doing.
how powerful or wealthy or famous you may be. No one should doubt our commitment on that. A year ago, Sean Combs stood in Times Square and was handed
way
a
bigger
key
than I want to be. This is
to
not
New York City.
okay, you guys. How did I do this?
Today, he's been indicted and will face justice in the Southern District of New York. Second, we are not done. This investigation is ongoing, and I encourage anyone with information about this case to come forward and to do it quickly. Anyone with information can call 1-877-4-HSI-TIP. I want to express my deep appreciation for the victims and witnesses who have used their voices and helped bring this criminal conduct to light. We would not be here without them. I also want to thank the dedicated case agents on the HSI Trafficking in Person Squad in New York. They have been with us since day one and have worked tirelessly on this investigation. They will continue to be invaluable partners.
That's much, much better.
I also want to thank the incredible agents and analysts from SCNY who have also provided tremendous assistance on this case. I'm deeply grateful for their continued work.
Oh, yeah.
Finally, I want to thank
I think all in
the
good
outstanding
nature.
career prosecutors from SCNY who are handling this case.
Love you.
Meredith Foster, Emily Johnson,
Spirited
Chrissy Slavic,
discussion.
Madison Smizer, and Mitzi Steiner, and their supervisors, Jamie Backleeper and Jacqueline Kelly. They are members of the Civil Rights Unit in our criminal division. We created the Civil Rights Unit when I became U.S. Attorney. I'm deeply proud of their work on this and so many other cases. I'll now take some questions.
Aaron Katursky, ABC.
Thanks, Nick. Damien, thanks. The indictment
No
describes
worries.
aggressive, open, violent,
Oh, no, you're
hedonistic
good.
abuse that you say was recurrent and widely known. Why did it take law enforcement so long to intervene? How
Thank
many
you guys
women
are
were
very
victimized?
gracious. I think probably already left because I'm not seeing any response, but I hope not. I hope you come back. Let's keep going.
By Sean Combs, and how many others were involved?
I love my peeps.
We are committed
Join
to
the
bringing
flock.
justice to everyone who's been victimized by the defendant. I can't tell you why it took so long. I think the better focus is on the fact that we are here today. And we are committed to making sure that justice is done. Next question.
Thank you. Julia Ainsley, NBC.
Thank you for doing this. You said we are not done and that Combs did not do this alone. Do you foresee that there could be other charges related to this case?
I'm not taking anything off the table.
Janet Fisher, Newsday.
What's the difference between the
Mama Bear scared off Thor. What's funny is I thought Thor was Joe at first. So, and that was really confusing. The whole thing was totally confusing to me. But he said he liked and subscribed, so I'm sure we'll see him again. I'll be friends. Yeah, no, that's interesting. In the Urban Dictionary, so that's sort of a concept. And there's a whole culture here that I'm totally unaware of in this world. But I do know for sure in Hollywood, partying is normal. Wild parties and seeing illicit substances and seeing people doing illicit substances and doing illicit, things, totally something that you can habituate to, that it's just not odd to you, right? I'm sorry. Somebody said pause the video when you talk. I talked over it. I'm so sorry. I'll have to be better about that. You can scare off a god. That's exactly what I was laughing about. But I know you didn't mean to, and that it's all in kindness. Okay. So, yeah, we totally do. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, oh my God. Let's strike some lightning or something. Come on. You got this. All right.
Sex trafficking and promoting travel for the purpose of prostitution?
Well, there are different crimes with different elements. I don't think we should get into the nitty-gritty of the legal discussion right now, but the sex trafficking, we believe, they're all serious offenses, but the sex trafficking conduct carries some significant penalties, and we are gratified that we were able to bring that charge.
One more coercive than the
gratified. Interesting term for.
I'm not going to be able to get into that, but you can look it up, and yes, sex trafficking, especially when it involves coercion or force, is a very serious crime, and it carries significant penalties.
Good afternoon, Darla Miles, ABC7 New York. Thank you for this press
Got a pretty
conference
full room,
and
guys.
for
Like,
the details.
and if you
Two
haven't
questions.
subscribed, welcome.
In context of this indictment
Yo,
and the
Sherry
information that was
Jones.
presented to the grand jury.
I am so sorry I did it again. I'll go back a bit. What I talked over. There you go. Welcome, Sherry. Yes, it's a culture that most people choose to look away from. Whoops. However, it doesn't make beating a girlfriend and dragging her by the hair back to a hotel room. I think you meant to say right. Oh, yeah, that was shocking. But it's like how many people had to. I wonder if anybody else actually saw that until she brought that lawsuit, though, right? How many did anybody know that it happened? I don't think it's like if people saw that and looked away. It's past the statute of limitations, and that was so shocking to people. I think that's why. I actually think that the seed of this civil lawsuit is what grew the tree of this indictment. People care what he did to her. People were horrified by that. And also there's shame in victims, right? Victims feel shameful because then there's like, well, who are you? What's your character? Why were you there in the first place? What did you do to bring this on, right? So there's some element of truth that one needs to be empowered, right? Take charge, stop following and complaining. But there's real truth that system of shaming continues that cycle, right? Our culture of public shaming is really a very toxic one. I say as I'm engaging in it, but I try not to do too much direct shaming, but I honestly I can't imagine if I believed that that one of these folks ever watched my video. But hi, welcome to discuss it with me. But at the same time, I want to be really honest and clear about what we're seeing. This is already something that is, off the rule book, off the charts. Something already happened, and now we're going to autopsy it, right? Yeah, Sherry, if you joined afterward, I'm not going to play it again because it's really horrible. But at the beginning of this live, if you replay, I played the hotel video of that, what he did. I actually played that video. All of us watched it. It was awful. Mama says, no, this isn't shaming. This is holding accountable. There's a huge difference. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I kind of was, you know, trying to be, like, I don't know. I try to stay aware of these things and not cross that line, because that line it's somewhere, right? I don't know. I'm a person that has, like, sometimes fuzzy boundaries. I have trouble with boundaries, but sometimes I know we're definitely, but I know we're on the other side of it, right? I can't tell you exactly where we crossed, what that intersection was, but we are on the other side. You can't convince me we're not, right? You've seen it, yeah. And then we all watched it together. It was awful. It's awful. But you might not have seen the extra footage. There's a little more that CNN released tonight. Clipped it in.
7 New York, thank you for this
Horrible.
press conference and for the details. 2 questions. In context of this indictment and the information that was presented to the grand jury, are you able to clarify the number of victims? It's mentioned plural in the indictment, but can you specify the number of victims just for this particular indictment? And secondly, can you provide details about the alleged arson?
Unfortunately, I'm not able to provide either. The number of victims, you are correct. We are intentional in saying multiple. The details of the arson.
Mama says victim blaming and shaming the abuser are extremely different. Yeah. Yeah. However, in my personal life experience, there's also an intersection where there's a line between victim and abuser, where the victim learns a pattern and continues engaging in it. So if we're going to engage in an honest assessment, I don't know that that can be ignored. A lot of victims turn into abuse. A lot of abusers were victims at some point, felt unempowered, and so they take that empowerment now too far. We've been kind of autopsying the making of a monster with Stephen Stearns and his parents as well. So it's interesting to see the origins of these things, and I don't know. Sherry says, again, this is going to be earth-shaking. Names are already being said, much like Epps. Oh my God. I've heard the names. Well, I've seen pictures today. I'm going to show you photos. I downloaded a ton of photos for you guys to show you. If this thing ever shows, like, if I can figure out how to do it, oh my gosh. I'm messing around with this layout stuff because I'm, like, trying to show you just pictures and not video, but I might have to do a screen share. Anyway, I've seen pictures of so many people, but the question is, just because they were at the party, anybody who's anybody was invited to those parties, the white parties, stuff like that, doesn't mean they knew or did those things. Now, the people who were working for him and helping cover it up, yeah, of course. But, Jay-Z, because he was at the party, did he engage in that stuff? I don't know that that's something that they can really get. It's just going to be like talk and gossip. So many people went to those parties, but you know who's getting hit hard? Kevin Hart. And I have that video I can show you guys, because there is a leaked cell phone cam video of Kevin Hart hosting at a freak off. Now, does this make it illicit? Did he do something illegal? He's part of a conspiracy just because he went to an orgy? Did something illegal happen at every freak off? It's not illegal to party and be freaking weird, last I checked. That's why the subject of this video is so, what the freak is a freak off? Kevin Hart. So, okay, so a comment I can't pin. I wish that, guys, send it to me in the chat, please, please, please. Send down the channel. Show the Kevin Hart video, they're saying. Okay, you guys want to see it? It's like cell phone video, and he's just talking. It's like not high quality. Should we go for it? Should we go for that? We've seen everything that this guy has to say. I mean, there's no more revelations. I think we can watch a few more questions. He's gonna talk about the friggin' baby oil.
Incident are limited to what we have in the indictment and also the detention letter that we filed, which contains more details than the indictment does at various points. But we don't have anything more beyond that. Next question.
Lynn Tran, CNN.
Are any of his accomplices or associates under investigation? And additionally, could he face any more charges?
Trying to find out if another arrest is coming
So
soon.
the investigation is ongoing. That means both as to him and to anyone else who we believe committed the crime.
Meaning we're going to start leaning on everybody at the parties. We're going to start talking to everybody we saw there. And we're going to start questioning and seeing if stories line up. And we're going to start offering deals to anybody who will talk and testify against him. Or any other big fish. That's what that means to me. Wow, I'm freaking on it tonight. But I'm getting a little tired, so we'll see how long we can go. I don't know how long I can do this, but we will. Okay, we'll do Kevin Hart. Yes, we'll do Kevin Hart. Because just because he was there doesn't make him a perv, right? All right, this thing is not playing anymore anyway, so we'll take it off. And let's see. No, I'm not trying to show you my driver's license. I'm hitting buttons I shouldn't be hitting. Kevin Hart partying with P-Diddy. Here it is. Okay, I'm going to share my screen with you. That's him talking. Hang on, let me get my screen on for you. I have like 6 screens going. I'm getting my stuff down. Like I'm getting down. Sort of, as I hit the wrong button again. Share screen. Diddy joking with Kevin Hart. I did it. Share all audio. Share. You guys got it? You see it? Yeah, man. Okay.
Don't get up, but it's just like, yo, we want to thank you for hosting the thing, man. It's been a pleasure. You didn't have to do it, you did it.
No, I definitely didn't have to do it. I definitely didn't have to. First and foremost, I'm not getting in the bed. Shouts out to him and what he did. I'm just gonna, if we can, let's just put the camera a little this way.
Did he just say I'm not getting in the bed?
So we're not. I don't want my shot to even I don't want it to come close to the bed at all. Usher look like he fresh off a goddamn plane. Usher.
Fresh off the garden stage. That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, damn, pause, but like just back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the frosted flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the frosted flakes because he used to always get up early. Now he's one of the richest stars in the world. And
What the fuck did Puff just say? Nobody's going to acknowledge this but me. Puff just said we used to wrestle over the frosted flakes, and we're streaming live. That was stupid. Listen, that was fucking stupid. Listen.
We're having a good time. Yo, Usher made it in the... Hey, yo.
Yeah, it's Usher. Yeah, that's Usher. Okay, we're going to stop. See if I can match the stuff. Yeah, okay. What do you think? What do you think? Being there, he knew he's making jokes about I'm not getting near that bed. Probably stuff going on in that bed. What do you I wouldn't want to. Can you imagine going on with a black light on that thing? Okay. Tip to mama. Petey, come here. Be cute. So we're not just looking at me. Come be cute. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Tip to mama says, why can't I get this bigger? There we go. A victim, maybe, but that's a whole story. whole different story with Stephen Stearns, who was enabled by his parents and a lot of others, and had brain damage, right? And actually was ran over by a car at 8 years old. So we're talking brain damage, not defending, but not normal. Okay, not working with all the cylinders. Okay, my throat is so dry. Why am I talking so much? Okay. Okay, what's up? P-Diddy was enabled by many others who have allowed him to become the monster he is. Absolutely. You don't become a... I think what happens with some people is their ideas of... This is actually a theory that I had for a graduate program. This is an idea that I always wanted to do for a study. Some versions of it have been done. I'm not going to tell you exact details because I haven't figured them out yet. But the idea would be to watch, like to create some kind of a controlled environment and have an experiment where something happens that's negative, where a good Samaritan would feel maybe worried or have a reaction, right? And then you watch or somehow gauge the participants' reaction and watch and determine whether or not they check their peers or other people in the room before figuring out how they should be responding, right? And so, like, are they do they normalize to others? Are they so socially oriented that they normalize to others? Because those are people who are going to have like a very wishy-washy sense of, you know, morals, right? And will allow this larger than life figure to redefine right and wrong, good and bad, okay and not okay. Well, I thought this thing wasn't okay, but they do it. It must be, right? Because we like people like this get so glorified. Okay, so back up behind on the comments. Okay, Joan says, oh, Usher, that's right. I heard a story that Usher himself told about a year ago. There are a lot of stories about Usher being having some incidents, being not, you know, very pervy. I've heard a lot of things about him, very unsettling. And I actually know somebody who's been in one of his music videos, but never heard anything bad from that, just his general reputation. Because even if Diddy isn't a monster all the time, he sure as hell is her monster. Yeah, man, that's some level of violence, right? Jones, it really disturbed Usher enough to retell it back then. What's the story about? He has a reputation for being a ladies' man, you know what I mean? For being very little slut puppy, is what I call him. Slut puppy. Like that show, What Would You Do, on a different... Yeah, but I'm not talking about... I'm talking about like on a college campus setting where people know that they're there for an experiment, but they would probably think they're there for something else, like do this taste test. But then you have a participant walk in and trip or something like that. And then you watch that you know, you determine where do they look, what do they see, right? Or you could do it somehow maybe on video by, you know, there's got to be a lot of ways to create instruments to measure whether or not, other than just a questionnaire, to measure whether or not somebody is has an internal value structure or an external value structure, right? It's a common idea in criminology that where does crime comes from? My theory was always that certain types of crime, gang violence, young people, comes from being socialized into it and having a socialized sense of morality. Right? That was always sort of my theory. A lot of other theories that are a little different line up with it, like broken windows theory. This idea that you habituate to something. So if you walk by a neighborhood and a window's broken, And the next day you walk by and it's still broken. And a week later you walk by and it's still broken. You realize that you're in an environment where someone doesn't care to maintain something. And so your level of maintenance on that thing declines. And then other people who want to break the rules infest that area. So that's kind of one of the theories of street crime. And they differentiate, of course, street crime from white collar crime. This is an interesting category because trafficking, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily call him a white collar guy, but he's a mogul, right? Somewhere in between. I should bring back my 20 years ago stuff. Let's bring back 10 years, really bringing it back. Okay, greetings. Distracted by my tablet. Yes, I can. No, I can't tell. Mama says there's a lot of similar types of videos on YouTube trying to replicate, but few perfect it. Yes, I mean, that would be sort of a doctorate program, sort of a psychology doctorate program on looking at how people make decisions, subconscious decisions. And then you would look at, like that person. Well, okay, so I don't need to go further into that. Boring. We're here about Diddy. All right, what else are we going to look at tonight? Or are we getting ready to close up? Pictures. Okay, let's do the pictures. Shit, man, I got a lot of them. All right, let's see how I can best share this. Go to downloads. I just put them straight in my downloads. And, of course, they are zipped. Okay. I think I can just share this screen like I did before. It's loading. Opening in Paint. What the heck? No. I have to unzip it first. Sorry. I zipped up all this stuff. It's so big. I have to extract it. So many pictures. Like 100 photos. 97 items to share with you. They're just pictures. It'll go fast, I swear. Okay, so what do you guys think about Kevin Hart? Like, I would love for you to weigh in on that. What do you think? Did he, like, the guys you see in there, Usher? What was the story about Usher? Like, is that something we should look up? While I'm trying to do this, extract these. And my bird is extract. Okay, here we go. And I have a lot of photos of the raids. So I downloaded as many of them as I could, because it really gives you an idea of the size and breadth of his estates. They're like, just, my God, Some of these won't open. I guess they're weird web format. Sorry, I didn't have the time today after I saw this stuff. Okay, come on, open, baby, open. Was it like an R word? The R word? I think that I heard about underage stuff. That's what I heard about with Usher. That he has a reputation for underage stuff. That's just a general, reputation he has in Hollywood. My opinion, Hart, like Usher, were blackmailed by Diddy. Okay, but he's making a blackmailed for what? Like, he's making jokes about, I'm not getting near that bed. So, like, what did they blackmail him for? Just being there? It was cool to be there. It was cool to be invited. But did something else happen? There's a lot of allegations that people were drugged against their will and then assaulted. And I'm saying this like out an hour in because I think I can get away with it at this point using the words. Yeah. Nuts. Okay, let's see if these photos finished extracting. We have Diddy in a pink suit. Don't go anywhere, guys. Here we go. Share screen. And I want to do a window. Tell me when you see it. See my photo? I think it's loading. Yeah. Okay, here's some Diddy. Okay, yeah, tomorrow. All right, tell me about it tomorrow. Okay, this raid lasted into the night. It went quite a while. HSI, I'm not sure what that stands for. Police HSI. Okay, so this is his Florida estate. It's got a very different look than the Beverly Hills estate. A lot of those big, you know, Miami kind of tropical stuff going on. Can you imagine having your mansion overrun by this? Look at this freaking tank. It's a tank. That's a serious raid. P-Diddy had a reality show for singers? No, I didn't. I remember he did J-Lo, though. And then he dated Cassie Ventura for like, I want to say 5 years. Something like 5 years. We're having spiced tea together. Look at that freaking tank. I mean, my God. Yeah, Department of Homeland Security. See, I'm tired. I'm getting tired. Okay. It's been a long day, you guys. I've been bait stamping documents all day. If you don't know what that means, congratulations. No, I love my job. I do, but it's monotonous. And when you have a mountain of documents and each one has to have an individual number ID for each page, and you have to know those, holy crapazoid, it will break your brain. Today I was like, my brain was broken. That's how Usher was pulled in. Oh, so Usher was discovered through a reality show for singers. Hey, don't chew my power. That is interesting information. You guys have really good additions. Okay, see more pictures now. Let's do the rest of these pictures. This is freaking crazy to me. I don't know if I think this one's Florida. So here we have, oops, a safe. And it looks like it has, oh no. How they got in that safe? They must have had a warrant for the code. What do you see in there? I see a lot of shoes. What's this? I can't tell. I don't know what's going on there. Okay, next. TMZ. I guess put that one up. You see some bang bangs? Look at all those people. I mean, and that, I guess that kind of makes sense. Like I was thinking that's too many, that's freaking too many, you know, people to raid, but look how many bang bangs are in there, right? That's code. Sorry guys, I have to use code. Don't want to get shadow banned. I like you guys coming in, visiting. Love getting new people. Okay, so I think this is Beverly Hills. To me, those trees are totally screaming California, not Florida now. Okay, so they're all mixed in the photos online. Look at this shit. Imagine seeing that at your door. Hello. Would you like some tea? That thing is just, oh my God. If one of those ever comes outside my door, I've done something very, very off. I've gone wrong somewhere. Made a left turn, right? That's a pretty good general rule. Woo! So you see the media are cordoned off. Okay. Notorious white parties. Here we're going to see some pictures of people. Sherry, keep your eyes peeled. Tell me if you know who these people are, because I honestly, I don't. I'm terrible about identifying Hollywood figures. I don't know who any of them are. Okay, I can't recognize any of these people for sure. Unregistered weapons. That's what we were seeing in the safe. Okay, those are the defaced with serial numbers. Shoes or shoe boxes. Yeah, bunch of shoes. Okay, this looks like he was in a closet. So safe behind a bunch of shoes. And by the way, they left the mansions trashed. So they probably pulled all the shoes and shit out. I doubt he had it that way. This guy's got staff to make sure his shoes are organized, right? I really don't think you guys think that this is how his closet was. I'm not saying he's a neat person. Let's go back to it. I'm certainly not saying he's like a neat person, but do you think they pulled all that shit out? Because I think they did. Pretty sure the cops pulled all that, made that mess. And that's a known thing, you know, you get a warrant, cops in your house, they're not going through things like pleasantly. It's not Molly maid service as they go. They're making it look like some, you know, like burglars broke in is what it looks like. So side note, tangent, which I do. I was living in a house at one point that got broken into. The folks that broke in, they stole a bunch of stuff. They stole a guitar collection on the wall, hanging on the walls, some snacks. So I'm led to believe they might have been stoners. A box of Coke, anyway. These guys came in, so I got an alarm system, right, to protect me. Had to have called the police, had a record that somebody had come in. So now this alarm system's there. I think somebody who was home at the time set the alarm and left it for away, meaning that there are sensors inside the home scanning for movement. And there were animals in the home. So these animals are moving. It set off the alarm. The alarm company called the police and called me. I rushed home from work. And as I'm walking, this is our awesome police system, which I'm not knocking the cops. They have helped me before, but they have also shown their complete lack of training in other settings like this, right? Or just lack of give a shit. I don't know. I got home and my front door was wide open and 2 officers were walking away from my house back to their cruiser. My dog at the time was old. I was worried about him. He was not stranger friendly. And the door was left wide open again. So I run up to the cops and I'm like, what's going on? Are there burglars? What happened? They're like, no, we checked everywhere. Nobody's in there. My front door was completely wide open. They're walking away. The front door is wide open. The dog's hiding under the table. Really? Hey, always curious. Just found your channel. I really like it. Welcome. Subscribe and like, please. So happy to have you. Hey, Joe Tipton, welcome to the room. So anyway, I remember thinking at the time, like, I'm lucky you didn't kill my dog. So police can be a very intimidating force, even when they're there to help you. All my cabinets were open, right? Oh, yes, they did check. They checked for burglars. They left every door, every cabinet, everything open, right? It was like insane to me. The front door, double doors, wide open. Okay, I'm going to stop ranting about that. Riverside police need, in my opinion, better training than they are currently receiving. Okay. San Diego police are pretty cool usually. And I've in my line of work, I have reason to interact, so I'm commenting. Okay, so Mapleton. Okay, so this is LA, and they're cordoning off the street, and of course his estate's the only thing on that street. Right, that is a huge estate, and this is how the Hollywood Hills are, right? Nestled in the hills, these big fences, trees lining them for privacy, hedges that cover them. You go driving through Hollywood, and this is what the Justin Timberlake's house looks like, right? No vision. Okay, this is Diddy's son. He was being detained, not arrested. He was handcuffed there on the property. Looks a little aggressive to me. Look at that. He's trying to keep his balance. Is that so necessary? I don't know. Maybe he was a threat to them on their information. I don't know. Only they know. We don't have that info yet. Okay, so this is them barging through the gate. I think. Look at that ladder. There's a ladder there. They're like figuring out a way to, this is a real raid. You know, a property like this, it's a state on this level, that is literally a raid to break in. Nuts, man. Beverly Hills Estate. Look at this place. Crawling with cops. Of course, this is all his drive. I think that's another one of his sons being detained. Some other folks were on the property there being detained. Bunch of cop cars outside a building. I'm not sure. This may be a courthouse. Not sure what we're looking at in this one. I didn't have time to organize the photos, so I made just a bucket of them so we could go through them because, you know, this is the kind of thing where it's happening right now. It's happening right now. Like, I can't just get lost in a rabbit hole of editing videos for you. Like, we got to do this. We got to talk about it. Oh, he does have a really pretty gravel drive, though, doesn't he? You know what this place reminds me of? Reminds me a little of the Playboy Mansion, where I cannot say whether or not I have or have not been there. I can't say. I take the fifth, but it does remind me of it. Okay, that's all I have to say on that. Lubrication is important. We'll just leave that pinned. Okay. The other house in Florida had 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Were they all in Florida? I wasn't clear on if somewhere in Florida, if somewhere, if they were just like a collective count of baby oil bottles. And I really feel like they should have gone higher on the lube quality. I really do. I mean, I feel like this guy could be giving us okay, let me just distance myself from there. This guy could be giving his patrons, real high quality personal lubricant. And he goes with the baby oil. Stay curious, man. What city for which? What city for which? In Florida, it's Miami. And in LA, it's Beverly Hills. Gathering Voice is very intimidating. How can it not be? How can that not be very intimidating? And on the other way around, how can they not come with a lot of force when they're looking at that much private security? That's nuts. Okay, I'm going to have to give you guys a warning bell when I feel like I'm going to fall asleep because we have more pictures to get through, but we're getting there. And I want to conk out on camera. P-Diddy will be just like, I'll be drooling. P-Diddy will be snuggling into my drool. I'll be like so charming, so hot. You'll see, everyone will want to subscribe. I'll wake up and have 1,000 new followers. Be like, huh? What happened? Anyways. All right. Always Curious is Holmby Hills. I believe it's Beverly Hills. I think that's what she's trying to say. Beverly Hills, yeah. LA has hundreds of sheets. Okay, so LA was the sheet stockpile. Florida was the baby oil stockpile. So did they have some sort of system to Amazon it back, kind of ship them back and forth? Hey, we need some more linen. Okay, well, send us a box of baby oil and we'll send you some some sets of linen. I don't know. Was it a barter system? Was it or a requisition system? Maybe just requisitioned. And God, this is complicated. And he was running a very complicated business. Okay, so many pieces to figure out. All right, let's see what these comments are. I'm missing some going by so fast. You have done your research on Playboy Mansion. I remember when you did. Oh, don't you help me. Don't you help me, girl. Yes, I've been to Playboy Mansion. I have been to a party at Playboy Mansion. And illicit things happened. I did not participate in any illicit things that I witnessed. And the illicit things weren't anything that I would qualify as an illegal thing, just private boundaries, right? Playboy, of course, has its own style, and I didn't see anybody who seemed to be coerced into anything. But the place itself and the kind of vibe of party at that place, just same size, right? The same kind of like, wide entry, and like it says, come in, come in, come in, and speak not of it, and covers the sheets over. Nobody can see from the outside. There's something about that. The stuff of chick flicks. Yeah, that is the stuff of chick flicks. That's a story for another day. It's a fun story. But okay, yes, one day I will tell the Playboy Mansion story. Come on, I grew up in Southern California. Like I wasn't like I was popular-ish. I did things. I was maybe sensation seeking and wanted to explore life quickly because I felt like I didn't have a lot of time to make up for things I missed. So I exposed to a whole lot of things on top of the whole lot of oddities from which I came. So, I'm a what do you call those layered rocks? The ones that form malachite, is it? They grow on the other one, on the layer and on the layer. I'm one of those, just sort of make it work. All right. The trafficking's a hard one. They're gonna have like people flew, people were transported, money was spent. That's gonna be a hard one to fight. And what is this trial gonna look like? I mean, does he think he could win this? I don't. Trafficking is hard with all the red lights. Joe is my punniest friend there is. Okay. Show. How about the just batshit crazy? Okay, yes, we need a category for just batshit crazy. We can have that. We can have one of those. Hey, I wasn't saying that. You ousted yourself. Okay, not following. The stuff of cock fillet. Ew. Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A, you completely perverted. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. What's this next one? Ousted? Ousted, I say. Ousted. Okay. I want to get through these so we can get back to the pictures. For the record, I slapped Joe for the cock fillet comment. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, Joe. Thank you. He said it was autocorrect. Sure it was. He's laughing. Okay. Always curious. Sounds like you've seen the underbelly of the elite. What? an interesting comment. Always curious. I would say I have had the opportunity to see some underbelly of some elite. Yes, that unique opportunity. And that unique opportunity inspires some of my writing. And I do have some blogs, some personal blogging titled the I Am Number 8 series on here, where I do share some of my, Hollywood weird experiences. Yes, there is some of that. And as I get braver, the more there will be. Okay, there's these pictures. Oh, like a tiny what? I don't want the tiny ones. Maybe I can boost it up. This is Florida for sure. Those are Florida palms. Florida. It is beautiful, isn't it? It's definitely beautiful. Florida. Oh no. Do we play the video again? Do we do it? Should I stop? You guys tell me stop it or do it. If you haven't seen it, tell me now quick. Yay, nay. Play it, don't play it. SGT Blue 11. Hey, welcome. Welcome. Al Sharpton has passed away. Oh no. That's sad to hear. Thank you for bringing the message to us. That's very sad to hear. Oh, Lordy. Well, we're glad that you're here with us. Please like and subscribe. Welcome to the channel. Be a Salty Flock member. We are glad that you're here to add your unique experiences in life. Okay. And there's no shaming here either. We value unique, strange, salty experiences, and they're okay. That's good. I'm not going to condone hedonism of the type of P-Diddy, but having certain crown experiences and getting the O's sown when you're younger, there's a value to it. There is a value to understanding and learning. It's not for everyone, but where I stood at that time, that's how I had to go. And yeah, it was okay. Let's try this. Let's try that. I don't know, right? For many reasons I discussed in those other video lines. I'll check it out. Always curious says, oh, Birdie, come on, get off my screen. I'll check it out. Seems like you liked a deep dive for the truth under the facade. Wow, what a nice thing to say. Yes, please do check it out. I'd really like to see your comments. I do. Yes, that is exactly it. It's like, let's dig, let's burrow in, and what's really in there. Hey, Patty, welcome. So happy you're here. Yes, like everyone. And Patty, if you are not already a member, please subscribe. We want you to be here, and we want your unique contributions to our Salty Flock. So Always Curious says, a true loss in Al Sharpton. Yeah, goodness gracious. Gonna have to definitely, that's gonna be on my TV later when we close this up, if I'm awake. All right, so a few more photos, yeah? Let's hit these photos. See the rest of what we're dealing with. I'm gonna show you this freaking video again. Watch out. I'm sorry if it hurts. It's gonna be trigger warning, trigger warning. Our dig. Oh. That is hard to take, man. That is so triggering for me for reasons I will not share here today. It's triggering for me to watch. So thank you all for being willing to look. I think that there is a respect in being willing to look at a horrible thing, the respect for the victim, to say, you had to go through it. The least I can do is look at you, acknowledge you, see you. Sometimes seeing someone, helping them feel seen is really the only thing that you can give to them. So I don't know. Yeah. Let's see. Yep. Tipton Mama agrees with Patty. And there is nothing in the news that said Al Sharpton died. Huh. Was that a prank? Were we pranked? Always curious. Yeah, he really did get out of control and was totally unchecked. Mama, it looks like he knocked her out cold, but then she gets up and calls on the phone. I watched it several times to try to figure out what was happening, if she had knocked her out, or if she just went limp on purpose not to fight him. Like she waited till he was done dragging because she wanted to minimize the aggression. She was like, okay, she just went limp. And then when he stopped dragging her, I think when we see her get up and go to the hotel phone, and he goes back for her again. So, yeah, I don't think it's a full knockout. I think he knocks her down, and then she just makes no attempt to get back up. Just like, could do your thing. I'm limp. What do you think? Let's see. So many comments I'm getting through. Okay, I love you guys being here. This is such an honor. Tipton Mama says, we honor her by being willing to see what she endured at his hands. Yes, you spoke it so well. Yeah. And we also, in a strange way, honor him and what he should be by highlighting how far he's gone from that. You know, and in a perfect world, we're trying to rehabilitate. We're trying to say, what happened to you? You're spiraling. Let's get you back on track. That's what I always believed the justice system should be, not a draconian exercise in, mass slaying, like mass sadism, but I guess that's kind of human nature still. Okay. He dishonors his mama. He's full of hate and violence. Shame, shame, shame. Yeah. I think it was a prank. That person was in and out. I think that was a prank. I don't think Al Sharpton died. Just messing with us. Yeah, that makes so much sense. Oh, okay, yeah, right? It does, huh? God bless her heart for all she's been through. Which one? His mama? I don't know who his mama is. Anyway, let's let this video play. Hey? Here we go. You've been warned. Oh, it switched. We got out of it. Let me try to go back. Because we played it at the beginning and a lot of you didn't see it. Somehow it skipped right through. What am I doing? Oh, man. We definitely have to share this screen. That is cray. Okay, I'll find it. Oh, that's the problem. That was the end of it. It was video after that. So let's try this. And this other one. these are, I hope this opens right. These are his LA mansion before the raid. I just wanted, no, this is actually still a raid. I just wanted to give you a sense of like how big it is. I'm not doing either of those. I'm doing, oh yeah, a window. I have made a lot of digital progress on this session. I feel like I really have. Okay, we've seen a lot of these. Let's skip through them. That one. What's going on there? This is it. Here we go. Hold your stomach. Hold your birdie. Kicks her twice. Drags her about 6 feet. Hit her in the neck and knocked her down. But words don't really convey how violent it was. So I think this video, like this last piece, actually happened before she got up and started to walk away. It's tagged on at the end for some reason, but I think this precipitated the rest. Like he threw that at her. And they're yelling. And then after that, she starts to walk away after they got into it. And apparently he was sleeping when she tried to go, and he got up and got irate. They're in a relationship, so they were sleeping next to each other. Yeah, he just grabs her and throws her down, and she doesn't fight, is what we're seeing. She just goes limp. She's like, and she's probably real weak, needing IVs and stuff after days of freak-offs. Dragging a woman like that is a real fucking trigger for me. I'll leave it at that. Okay, we've seen all of that. Moving on. Okay, so we see he has this nice wave runner. And this HSI guy is like, he's just thinking about, oh my God. But he has a lot of those. He has a lot of toys. Gonna be up for auction soon. Who wants P-Diddy's wave runner? Yeah, it's LA, the hills. So easy to spot the terrain. Boom, Florida. Look at the sheer size of that estate. That's like half an island. He's inhabiting. He's like the king, you know. He's royalty for some of these people who live in this life. I think the only bigger thing I could think of is Jay-Z and Beyonce. It's the only bigger thing. And I'm sure they're at those parties. But that doesn't mean there's any implication that they did anything wrong or illegal. But I'm sure they were there at the white parties and stuff, right? Everybody wanted to be at those white parties. Wonder what's in the boxes. Dogs to sniff. What's in there? Let's see. What do you see? D. Kaiser. Silver MacBook Air. Okay. It's a MacBook. I was all ready to see another like weapon of something. It's a MacBook Air. Check out the sculpture. Hideous sculpture. I love the French doors though. Love that. Plenty of room for entertaining. A lot of officers. Whew. It is scary as hell looking. What's going on here either? Let's make it bigger. This guy on a phone, okay. Florida. It's definitely Florida. We're Florida. This would be their command center. It is pretty. Okay. Kind of. Aha. The defaced bang bangs with their serial numbers rolled off. Are those ARs? I don't know what that is. Is that part of it? I'm ignorant with these things. I would not know what to do with these parts to pick up and make them work. But I'm pretty sure they do. All right. I'm going to turn into a pumpkin soon. I think I got like 10 minutes in me. And that is the last photo. Can't be. Okay. That's okay. I have more. There are more. There's so more. Okay, we're going to extract all these too, which only took a second. And done. Okay. So these are a lot of like white party stuff. Let's see if I can get this to open for you. Like this is party stuff. It's where you might see people or names. And you're not seeing my screen yet, right? Okay, share screen. White party, which he did throw this year for Labor Day. He did throw it. And there's a picture in here that kind of shows him upstairs hanging out by himself. He was not in the mix. It was not like past years. If you look at this and like the scope of the partying, people have called him a modern Gatsby. I mean, if you think about it, isn't it kind of a modern Gatsby? Isn't that kind of like on par? Other than the trafficking part, the extravagant parties. That's how he's often been thought of. You know, these crazy, home and hotel parties everybody wants to go to that where it lasts for days and days. That looked like this at first, outside, for the ladies and the family. There's layers. There's places you don't go, or you walk into things you don't want to know. Okay, Diddy's looking happy. He's looking like the man, Definitely the man. Recognize anyone there? I saw that. Looks pretty pissed, doesn't he? We saw those. Okay, this one's newer. Look at all these guys. Do we know any of these guys? Recognize them? Anybody? Okay, comments say horrible violence. We honor her by being willing to see what she endured at his hands. Yes, Tipton Mama, thank you. Thank you. You understood exactly what I was saying. To, I think it came from, I don't know where it originally came from, but I have a good, an easier analogy. I had a friend who had a good, solid lessons from her dad. She had that. And she was, a little odd, like maybe a little on the psychopathic side, and he gave her a lot of really good rules, and like philosophies for life. And one of them was, it's if you plant a garden and you don't give it room to grow, it's not the plant's fault that they end up twisted, And the other thing he would say is if somebody's in the mud and that's your friend down there and you've got boots on and all you have to do is put your foot in the mud to rescue their body out of it, then if you can't do that, you're no friend. No. Those things, those dad lessons, that just click in, right? Some of those dad lessons that just feel right. Tipton says, yeah. So, yeah, you have to honor. I always felt like if I was telling somebody something that I went through and they were like, oh, that's too heavy, that's too much, I don't want to hear about it. So that happened to me once. And I felt so incredibly offended because I thought, you can't handle just hearing about what I had to just live through. You can't take that ounce in order to comfort me, just take that little bit from me and try to bond a little bit and ease that, discomfort. But, and you're dealing with people who aren't socially motivated to give a flying fark, and what are you gonna do? Okay. I will always try to honor the victims with the truth. The truth. Okay. May he rot in prison, says Sherry. He dishonors his mama. He's full of hate and violence. Shame, shame, shame. I think it was a prank. That person is in. Oh yeah, back then the Al died. I don't think that's. Oh yeah, makes so much sense. Okay, good. We're on the. God bless her and all she's been through. Yeah. No, the victim, his victim. She says, Jen, I meant God bless his victim for all she's been through. Yes. She was trying to walk away quickly and quietly, so she left barefoot. Good observation. She even left barefoot. That is a good observation. Ouch, right? Sherry says her name is Chelsea Handler. Oh, Chelsea Handler was there? What? What I need to know more of that story. That sounds intriguing. Always Curious says, I'm getting too tired to read this stuff. We're going to have to pack it in soon. I think I've got till the end of the slideshow. Always Curious. Looks like Jay-Z in that striped shirt. It does, don't it? Yeah, Jay-Z is known to go to these parties. Known to. Jay-Z is known to be pretty hardcore, pretty fucking hardcore. Like, it would not surprise me if, of course, I expect him to have, like, all these drugs around and sex and women, but I wouldn't. The hiring men part threw me off a little, but to each their own in their racketeering style. Okay. Reverend Rum is one of the men. I don't know who Reverend Rum is. Very honorable, always honor the victims. Yes. Yes. The victim was Chelsea Cutler. Chelsea Cutler. Okay. Yeah, I think he did have allegations earlier on. He did, and got out of them. So, yeah, they'll be digging. There will be some digging into his past, and I'm sure we'll do a lot more digging in some of these areas and deep dive. Just pick some areas where we want. You guys tell me right now. Is this the case you want to keep following? Like, thumbs up, thumbs down. We just be like, yeah, we want to keep doing this one. Like, this is interesting enough. Let's follow it. Because then, if we know we want to, we can talk about what kind of deep dives we want to do with them. Thanks for sharing, Curious. Yeah, this is the LA mansion. And I think they did LA before Florida. Because, yeah. Oh, I skipped too fast. Damn it. There we go. We saw that. These two lovely girls are Diddy's twin daughters. Shame on him. Shame on him. He has daughters. Okay, Curious says, yes, please, following this case. Okay. All right, we will. We'll keep following this case. Sarah Boone just had a hearing today. I don't think it was like in, I'm not sure what the ruling was. I'm not sure that there was a ruling yet, but it is this judge trying to get the video from Sarah's phone. Sorry, it's the attorney trying to get the video from Sarah's phone thrown out. And Sarah's looking pretty unhappy at a table filled with paralegals and attorneys. And the attorney is arguing well for her. She's got not one but two. So I think that's worth looking at. Tomorrow, rain or shine, hail or thunder, we're doing OJ. We're doing OJ that night. We're climbing in so deep. And we invite you to crawl in with us. Come tomorrow night, same bat time, same bat channel, 7:30 Pacific Standard Time. We'll be on here and we'll be talking about the book, the banned book that OJ wrote with a supposed confession. So we'll read that confession. We'll read it live. Everyone can hear, and you can weigh in on what you think is going on. So that's tomorrow night. Come join us. If you have not already subscribed, please subscribe. Thumbs up this video. And stay salty. Stay curious. Have a beautiful night. Get some sleep. It's late. Bye.